Innovating Education Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.
Numbers of post-grad students are increasing all the time. But is the job market keeping pace? Or is a PhD useful in other ways? And can you get one without stressing? This week we explore PhDs from A to Z. Thanks to generous government funding of both students and universities, Slovakia is believed to be the OECD country with the most PhD graduates. But now people are asking questions about the use of having so many PhD graduates. Is the point of having a PhD to get a better job? If so, are there enough high-level jobs to go round? In this report, we look at how one university is tackling the issue.
Welcome to Slovakia, the country with more PhD graduates than any other OECD member state. The country's biggest university just weeks ago proudly announced it offered its graduates better job opportunities in certain fields than Oxford or Cambridge.
All the graduates are employed. We are even #1 in the Shanghai ranking. There are no persons who graduates at 2012 unemployed.
But what are the reasons for this surge in numbers in the field of tertiary education, and is it really beneficial to those graduating? One reason for the high numbers is a per capita funding system for universities. The more PhD students enrolled, the more money a university gets from the state. But there are financial incentives for students as well.
Compared to any developed country, for example USA, you have to pay for a PhD studies. In Slovakia you don't pay anything, it's for free.
Critics say that this leads to many students simply prolonging their studies as they want to avoid dealing with the harsh realities of the job market in times of crisis. Christian Valentin's confident his PhD studies on visual recognition inspired by biology and the human brain are not just an excuse to kill time.
The reason is maybe not to get a job, but to create a job for myself, my company, where I can apply the experiences and knowledge I get during the study, and maybe to also make jobs for other people.
Christian's aiming high and grateful for the help offered by the government, but education journalist Jan Glowicko has found some rather unfortunate stories of Slovak PhD students.
They have a problem to get the job. They, for example, sell the books in bookstore, or they are gonna work as the salesman in Austria, or they are working as administration officers for low salaries, and they are not working in their field of study. There is one really good joke which says that everybody can get the university degree, only if the tram will kill him, he will not get the education degree in Slovakia.
For Jan, a high score in PhDs alone doesn't mean high-quality education. The Slovak government has in the meantime tightened up its funding criteria with stronger emphasis now on the research output of the university and not just student numbers. As a consequence, the rate of PhD graduates has already started to decrease again, while many young Slovaks still struggle to keep their heads above the ground as they cope with the reality of youth unemployment.
While many countries are, like Slovakia, improving their education systems and trying to attract more PhD students, graduates are increasingly looking abroad for postgraduate courses. In this report, we look at what the experience means for one student doing a PhD at a prestigious institution in Italy.
32-year-old Xiao Shibun got her bachelor's degree and an MSc at Malaysian universities. She's now at the International Centre for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology in Trieste, Italy, more than 10,000 kilometers from home.
I love science, and ever since I was 17, I decided to be a scientist, and I do very well in that subject.
Xiaoxi's family has always supported her, and in 2010 pushed her to continue her studies in Italy. The centre receives 1,000 applications a year for the PhD programme. Of these, only 10 or 12 get in. It's a very competitive application process.
I was particularly interested in ICGEB because of its international nature, focusing on developing countries.
This is the International Center for Genetic Engineering Biotechnology, an institution that has been founded more than 25 years ago in the framework of the United Nations to offer a sort of hub for research and training to scientists of more than 63 member states, most of which are in the developing world.
Xiao sent her application and was surprised to get a positive response. The centre's become a second home to her. She spends over 10 hours a day studying and discussing her research results with her colleagues.
2 years being in Italy, in Trieste, it is a very peaceful and quiet town. It's a perfect town for academic purpose. I remember one day my teacher, Josephine, looked at me in my eye and told me that aim high, go high, and I did it.
She misses her family, her friends, and her country's food. But Xiao Shi's making all the sacrifices because as soon as her research finishes, hopefully in 2014, she'll be able to apply for a postdoctoral position.
Choosing the right course at the right university for you is obviously important. But what about the stress of presenting your thesis? What's the best way to translate years of hard work, research and studying into a positive result? For some students, defending their thesis and dealing with criticism is the hardest lesson of all. We meet one student and find out more.
A new day is starting in the Argentine capital, Buenos Aires. Daniel and his wife are going to the UBA to defend his doctoral thesis in social sciences. His thesis director, Dr. Fabian Luduena, is giving him some final advice after 6 years of work, during which they've worked together closely.
Maybe this is the most important moment of the thesis. Supporting it in front of a jury is the most intimate moment where you can really explain these years of work.
There's a very strong emotional bond. Well, Fabian knows my story. He was there with me, helping me focus and develop my work.
I think we've collaborated to get to this moment, not only educationally, but also through our experiences.
Daniel prepared a solid argument to defend his work before the jury members. The thesis must be original and contribute to developing the discipline in which he specialized. To assess this, the jury will question some of his main research ideas and debate the validity of his observations and findings. The title of Daniel's thesis? Social Eugenics, a vision of death in life.
Excuse me, may I? I feel that it's not that clear that they failed.
I feel it's relevant to think about the future. Now it's clear to me, thanks to the explanation that is also part of the thesis. Obviously.
After an hour of intense debate, Daniel can now take a breather with some family members who came to support him. He tells them how he defended his thesis as they wait for the jury to finish their behind-closed-doors deliberations. The jury members are all doctors and experts in Daniel's field. In Argentina, a majority of them have to vote to approve a thesis for it to pass.
I'm very tired. I'm very nervous as well. It's logical, no? And also I'm waiting for the result.
The
candidate produced a solid and well-articulated argument. His responses to the jury's questions were satisfactory, and he picked up on the proposed suggestions. For those reasons, this jury unanimously approves the thesis summa cum laude.
The reward for Daniel is the highest honor for a doctoral thesis.
And finally, we would love to hear your experiences of studying for a PhD. the good as well as the bad. So don't hesitate to drop us a line on our social media pages. And remember, our Twitter hashtag is LearnWorld. As usual, we will be back next week with more inspiring stories. So goodbye for now.
Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.